of when Rabbah invited Reb Zera for a Purim feast at his home. The Talmud says they drank wine, as is the tradition on Purim. You should drink until you don't know the difference between cursed is Mordechai and blessed is Haman. Uh-oh, that was a joke. Okay, so they got to that stage. And the Talmud says Rabbah, who was a great sage, took out his shochet knife, the knife he uses to slaughter the chickens, the cows, make sure they're kosher, and he slaughters Reb Zera. After the holiday, he wakes up and he sees what he did, so he resurrects Reb Zera. The next year, it's time for Purim, and Rabbah says, Reb Zera, why don't you come to my place again, and we'll do the Purim party all over again? And Reb Zera says, no, it's okay, not this year. That's the story. That's the story in the Talmud. That is one strange story. How does this even make sense? How is it possible that Rabbah, one of the greatest sages in the Talmud, is drunk and slaughters in the most gruesome way his colleague, another Torah scholar? Like, how does that make sense? They say, Nichnas yayin yatzat sod. When the wine goes in, the secrets come out. Basically, if you want to know who a person is, give them a little wine, and the secrets come out. Some people, when they drink, they start to hit people and break things. Some people, when they drink, they start to hug people and kiss people. And they become really annoying, but they're all, inside is all love. Some people, inside is all hate. And it all comes out when they drink. In Judaism, we don't condone alcoholism, but there are 2 holidays a year where we get pretty crazy. Purim and Simchat Torah. How's it possible that this great sage drinks and he kills someone? So the Lubavitcher Rebbe gives a very beautiful explanation as follows. He says, you have to learn, the whole story is an analogy. You have to see it in a different light. The name Rabbah translates in Hebrew to great. Zera translates to small. These were 2 massive Torah scholars to you and me, but to each other, one was Rabbah, was a great, great Torah scholar, and compared to Rabbah, Zera was a small Torah scholar. Rabbah dabbled, not just dabbled, he was an expert in the teachings of Kabbalah. Rabbah was an expert in the secrets of the universe, the secrets of Kabbalah, the kind of stuff ordinary people shouldn't know. Rabbah gets drunk. What does he do? He does something he would never normally do. He spills the beans. He starts to teach the deep secrets of Kabbalah to Reb Zera. Reb Zera would normally say, hey, I don't want to go there. The Talmud tells another story. I'm going to digress because that's what the Talmud does. There was 4 sages who embarked on a Kabbalistic exploration of teachings that most people aren't privy to. Of the 4 great sages, only one of them made it out alive, or okay. Rabbi Akiva. The other 3 sages, one died. It was too much information. His soul never came back from that experience. The other one became a heretic. He dropped all religion. And the other one ended up in the loony bin. They put him in a home. He went Meshuggah. Rabbi Akiva is the only one who came out. He went into the Pardes and he came out of the Pardes. I'm just giving you an idea of there's some things that our minds can't understand, and it's too much. Rabbah normally keeps his teachings to himself, but it was Purim and he drank, so the secrets came out. So Reb Zera was exposed to this information. His soul went up really high, but couldn't handle it, never came back. So he resurrects him. So the next year, he says, let's go do it again. Reb Zeir says, that was great, but thanks, but no thanks. The whole story is a different story, the Rebbe explains. You can't read the Agadita as if it's like, just... You have to understand all this is an analogy to explain. And within the story, there's so many more details that we're not even privy to. It's a conversation between sages. And this is a way that a lot of these ideas were transmitted from one generation to the next. Deep concepts cloaked in ordinary stories. Which, by the way, is very much the theme of the holiday of Purim that we're just about to celebrate. We're going to read a scroll called the Megillah. Just like you have a Torah scroll, a mezuzah on your wall, it's very holy, you have a Megillah. It tells the story of Esther, how Haman wanted to kill every single Jew. And there was, Achashverosh was the king of 107 countries, and no one was going to survive. Judaism was about to come to an end. And the last second, against all odds, Haman's plot falls apart, Esther becomes queen, and the Jewish people are saved. In the 11th inning. The big question on the holiday of Purim is, why isn't God's name written in the Megillah even once? You would think such a holy text, you'd find God's name written in it, not even once. The sages explain the story of Purim is a story where God is hidden, but he's very much present. There are holidays that we celebrate great miracles, the splitting of a sea, the Maccabees' victory. There's holidays where you could look beyond a shadow of a doubt, there's a miracle here. God put the world on pause, and he stuck his hand in and made some crazy things happen. And we celebrate that. The Exodus of Egypt, the manna in the desert. But there are stories where you actually don't see God clearly. Some people would say the whole story of Purim was two smart, savvy Jews, Mordecai and Esther, were in the right place at the right time. They pulled the strings. In the last second, they turn everything around. Where's God? God doesn't exist. And of course, the answer is God was very much present, because there's two ways God interacts with the world. Sometimes he manipulates things clearly for us, but most of the time God is behind the scenes orchestrating that you are in the right place, in the right time. It is Hashem, sort of the puppeteer, the puppet master, controlling everything that's happening. And even when things look hopeless, at the last moment, Hashem makes that maneuver and everything lines up perfectly how it's supposed to be. That's the miracle of Purim. God is hidden. And so this idea of finding God in the wildest stories in the Talmud is very much connected to Purim. God's wisdom is very much hiding in very ordinary circumstances. And that's, by the way, the reason why the Hamantash is the food of Purim. It's the triangular shaped cookie. And I'm going to teach you the original Hamantash. Today you can see the flavor on the top. You can see, is it raspberry? Is it poppy seed? Right? You can see it. But the original Hamantash, it was a pocket. A tash in Yiddish is a pocket. It was a muntash. Mun is poppy seed. It was sweet poppy seeds in a cookie dough, and it looked like an ordinary cookie. But when you bit into it, you were like, "Oh, this is sweet. This is special." That's the message of Purim. God is hidden below the surface. The world looks ordinary. Everything looks like Mordecai and Esther are in charge. It looks like we're in charge of our own life. But really, below the surface, if we just explore, we'll find the sweetness of God's presence everywhere. The Hamantash is a representation of the story of Purim and the reality of our lives. No matter how alone we may feel, God says, I am right there with you at all times. And the deepest secrets of Kabbalah are often found in the Agadita of the Talmud. The whole Talmud could be analyzed with a completely different lens when you're looking at it that way. Anyway, my dear friends, I hope that you found today's class meaningful. And I'm so grateful that you're part of this course. We only have 2 classes left.